And we're back. Hey, everyone. Riley and Matthew here now on the broadcast booth stage together with an amazing gentleman. We have Rick Cicero, an accomplished shooter, competitive shooter, veteran, obviously an amputee. And what I like about your story, we were just talking a minute ago, guys. Rick's got some amazing things to share with you. It should hopefully inspire those that might be in a similar boat or with a similar background. But also, I think, is inspiring for a guy like me. I'm not a veteran. I haven't sustained any injuries in a combat zone. And I look at someone like you and I think, you know what? If Rick can do the things that he's doing, and I've seen some videos of you shoot, man, and you can flip and shoot. If Rick can do what he's doing, then I go, geez, I've got no excuse not to get out, get active, practice, dry fire, whatever it is, and work on those skills and enjoy it at the same time. Then, man, there's something wrong with me.
Well, first of all, I want to thank y'all for bringing me here, and it's truly an honor to be here at the USCCA Expo and be part of the shooting community. You know, for me, getting back up and back out on the range 6 months after I got blown up was a game changer for me. It changed my perspective. It brought me back to center. But I was also the absolute worst student I'd ever had at that time because I knew the right way to do everything, but I wasn't able to do it that way anymore.
Sure.
And I had to accept that my body was different. My brain was a little different, my physical capabilities. So what I had to do was challenge myself to become the best shooter I could within that. And it was not just game-changing for me physically, but it was a fantastic mental builder for me.
Yeah.
And then once I started doing it with some fellow veterans and getting those guys out, seeing that transition, and then for them to ask me, geez, how can I become an instructor? Well, you know what? Let me talk to my guys at SIG that I know through the SIG brace and the guys through HAVA and the guys at the NRA and some other resources. And here we are today. We have a fantastic team of instructors, of combat veterans. Most of us are banged up in different ways. And we speak your language. We've been there. We understand where you're coming from. But by the same token, we're not going to hold your hand. Come on, Devil Dog, get on my 6 and let's go. And that's the way we function within that. And we're developing a database. You know, when you've trained a couple of people, when you've trained 100 people, when you've trained a couple hundred people, when you've trained hundreds of people who are all have sustained different injuries, you really start to learn your craft. And when you've trained thousands of people who are physically capable, and you look back and you say, boy, you guys were easy. You know? And last year I had the honor, I had a student who had been an EOD tech, lost his right leg above the knee, lost his right hand just above the wrist, and he had 2 fingers. And he said to me, you really think you're going to be able to get me to shoot a pistol? Hold on, let's do a couple of dry fire drills. Absolutely. The end of that week, that man was drilling tacks. He was holding a group about the size of your computer screen at 25 meters. And just as comfortable and confident, all his reloads, malfunction clearance, everything.
Okay.
And just absolutely confident.
Right.
It was all the right mindset. And that's the first thing we start with, is to get the mindset right. Get the guys out of the house. Let them understand you're still that same Marine. You're still that same soldier, sailor, airman that got you through that challenge. So step up and be that same guy.
Yeah.
And enjoy yourself. There's no reason not to. And that's what we offer more than anything else. I'm not here to give them a bunch of stuff. I don't give away any money. Heck, I probably have the smallest budget of anybody that runs a veteran support type organization. However, we reach so many guys because we go to them. And I'm guilty. I dip in my pocket all the time, and my wife gets mad at me. And then she says, but you know what? We really need to do this. To heck with it. Let's go. Yeah. And it's for the guys. It's for the community. And it's for my son, who's active duty Army, and my other boy, who's active duty Air Force. And having these young men as part of our family, and my nephew, who's active duty Army. And they're all on opposite sides of the globe. 2 of them are deployed. And right now they're off doing exactly what they want to do to support our country and support our community. And that's part of what we do with the veterans when they come to our classes, get them back in that mindset and we all work together as a team.
That is just incredible. As a combat vet, and having a lot of friends who've come back, not just scarred physically, but the mental aspect of it, and the way you connect with these people, and you give them back their life before the injury, where, us military guys and gals, we think that's what we are, and once we lose an arm or once we're injured, that we're no longer that person. And you giving that back to them with all the problem we have with veteran suicides, taking that approach to it and giving them back something to live for, giving them back their lives is invaluable. And it's truly, I think you are a true definition of the word inspiration, and it's visible and it shows.
Well, I appreciate that, but I will tell you this. I'm just the lucky guy who gets to do it. And, one of the things I see, and I've had this conversation with some pro shooters and some other military guys, I relax on the range. That's home for me. I grew up on a range, but I find it relaxing. I get down there and I get in my zone and I forget about everything else. And I find the vast majority of our students feel exactly the same. And everybody says, oh, guns are bad. No, they're not bad. That's what we do. That's who we are. Well, they scare me. Well, they scare you because you don't understand why. And I see so many of the guys, they'll call me like, hey, man, can we go get a little extra range time? I enjoy it. It gets me out of the house. It changes my mindset. And the other thing that a lot of people don't see is it gets them sober. It gives them a reason to get off the pain pills, because I won't let them on the range. If you're taking pain pills, if you're gooned up on something that is illegal, if you're on something that is highly prescribed for your mental state, I can't put a firearm in your hand. Yeah. But if you can get a handle on your life, I can't tell you the number of guys who've called me and said, hey, listen, I've gotten myself straight. The doctors are happy with me. Here's my medical clearance. They want me to go do this. I've told them about you, and they know about you anyways. Can I come out and shoot? Sure, come on. And I'll get them out. I'll get them going and get them motivated, do some dry work with them. Come on, then let's go shoot. And we make sure it's a safe, comfortable environment for them. And then the next thing you know, I can't get rid of them, and I love it.
Yeah. Your story, the way you just described all that, echoes a story of a good friend of mine up in Wisconsin, Army guy, EOD tech, and he didn't lose any limbs, but sustained some back injuries and a head injury, and comes home and is just in constant pain. Found it difficult to get out, to be active, to live life normally, until he got out to the range. And he had somebody, showing him, hey, look, you can do this. And now guess what he's doing? He just got done this weekend shooting in an extreme long-range competition in Texas, going out for 2,000, 3,000, even close to 4,000 yards. And he says the same thing. What he discovered with himself was, it relaxes me, I settle down. If, I feel no pain, I'm able to do that. So I love it. Tell us about HAVA.
Well, HAVA is a great organization. It's completely run and supported through the outdoor sporting industry and the firearms industry. It is a great entity. Nobody at HAVA gets paid. Everybody is a volunteer. Yeah. When we run an event and the firearms companies say, okay, we're doing something in North Carolina, and says, Glock, I'm coming, and Sig Sauer, I'm coming, and Yamaha, I'm coming, and all these other entities, they all chip in. They all support it with people. Each of them provide some financial backing for it as well, but they step up to the plate and they just do things because they know that this is where our country is. This is who we are. When I say, hey guys, I need X rifles for something I'm doing, can you all help me out? And this company says, yeah, let me send you one of mine. And another company says, here, try this. And all of a sudden, Leopold had sent me some glass before, and I go to the mailbox and bang, there's a brand new scope Leopold just sent me because they want me to try it out. They don't ask anything of me but, here, go use this. And they don't ask anything of the veterans. They're not out there hawking and putting out all these advertisements. They're here for us. And whether it's hunting, fishing, shooting events, all these different things, but we're all about getting the guys out of the house. We're about building that team, and we do it as a family as well. Anything, if I'm running a firearms training class and, you want to come and shoot with me and your wife has never shot before, and I say, come on, we'll teach you. Because if she likes to shoot now, or she just understands why you like to shoot, well, number one, she's not going to be offended when you want to go to the range. And number two, she might say, honey, I'd like to go try out my new P365, please.
Yeah.
And I really like it. And you're going to say, you know what? Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
And you're going to grab your stuff and you're going to go to the range and you're going to do something as a family. And whether it's your son or your daughter or anything like that, and I see that my kids grew up shooting, and it's good family time. It's good, safe things we can do as a family and build that whole team at home that often gets lost in the military, and bring that back to center, because our number one teammates are family.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that, and we have to keep building that constantly.
Incredible. The way it all kind of comes around full circle. You give, and in the end you get back. And I think if we looked at it more that way, not thinking about what we're going to get right away, but give of ourselves and trust that, you know what, we do the right thing, it's going to come full circle. And building the family unit is so important. You're talking about giving that responsibility back to your kids, and getting that family time, getting them off the computers and off the iPhones and iPads and stuff, and get out there and have a good family time. It's incredible. And I'm telling you, I'm seriously in awe right now speaking with you. Just so proud of what you're doing, and I can't say thank you enough for the guys that are out there that can't thank you personally. I'm thanking you for them, because I know they would love to thank you.
Well, it's truly a pleasure, and it's an honor to offer such things for the guys. My wife and I and my team of instructors that we have around the country, we teach all over, from Florida to New Hampshire to Kentucky and Tennessee and Alabama and Texas and California. We're constantly on the go. And the biggest thing that I always put out to the guys, you give me 5 banged up vets that want to learn to shoot, I'm going to come and I'm going to put on a class. And if I got other vets there in that community that want to come out and learn, or their family members, well, come on. Let's go. Let's run a class. Let's give them the opportunity to do that. Let's bring our skills. And if we have instructors in that area that want to learn what we do, by all means, come on. Because if we teach you some of these skills, you're going to be that consistent follow-on resource for these guys. And I will tell any of your listeners, if you're interested in what we do and you want to see what's available for your veteran family, go to honoredveterans.org and look at the HAVA page, or just Google HAVA and we hop right up. And, see if this is something that we can provide to you. And if it's not something that that veteran may be able to do because they have some things they need to sort out, there's a perfect goal to drive for.
Yeah.
And let's drive for that. Let's enjoy it. And let's get back to that team mentality. Let's be the solution, because that's who we are. That's why we raised our right hand. That's why we stepped up to the plate, and we don't hesitate. And, for me now, I have this snazzy new electronic right hand. Thank you to Walter Reed and the amazing technologies that's there. And it
is snazzy.
This gave me a true support hand again for the first time in 7 years. And I have to laugh because I'm constantly learning to shoot again, because Learn to Shoot has changed my life, and it's something I do at Walter Reed. As last year when I first learned to have a support hand again with a rifle and a support hand again with a pistol, and now having my leg direct connected to my bone, I can only imagine how I'm going to shoot in a couple of months when I get back walking on that.
It'll be scary.
Yeah.
And,
scary good.
But these are the things we can give to our leadership there, and it gets back. It gets recognized by the colonels and the generals and so forth that see it and, hey, this makes sense. So it goes full circle, right back to that baseline active duty troop, to the guy that's going home and having that ability to carry on after he comes home.
Just a kind of random question, but I'm curious. Was there ever a time with you, and it's been how long since your incident?
About 7.5 years. It'll be 8 years in August.
So was that like 2010?
Yes, sir. August 2010.
Was there ever a time where you got down yourself, or felt like you couldn't do whatever you wanted to do or needed to do?
Well, every time there's a challenge in your life, whether it's you're in LERP school and you're lost out on the land nav course, you're like, somewhere there's got to be reach in, find your heart, and follow it. Absolutely is always going to be the answer. There's always a challenge. It's what you do when you face that challenge. And part of what got me through it was my faith. And the other part of what got me through it was my family and my friends. Those people that were there for me when I needed them, I saw the light. Fortunately, it came to me quickly. And the first person that I saw when I woke up, after the nurse and after the doctor, the third young individual that walked in the room was my son. He was on his first deployment. He turned 19 10 days before I got blown up.
Wow.
And he made the decisions that resulted in me staying alive at 19 years old. And I can go on and on about my son, but how do you not honor that young man by manning up and driving on with the mission?
Yeah.
And I mean, that family and that surrounding of people is just remarkable.
Well, what did that do for your son?
Did
it? I mean, obviously it changed his life, but I'm curious maybe how it changed his life.
He and I have talked about this a little bit, but
I know I'm getting really personal here, but
he is very much a mature man and has been from that day. And, one of the things that we've talked about is I told him, I said, listen, I'm your father, but I'm not ever in a position to tell you what to do for the rest of your life. You have wisdom far beyond your years. I may give you advice, I might tell you what I might think of something, but it's his life to live, and he lives it to the fullest. And he is in Army Special Operations, and he is doing exceptionally wonderful things, and I'm terribly proud of him, not for what he does, but for the man he is. Yeah. He's married to a great girl, and they have a wonderful relationship, and there's not much more you can ask for your son than to be happy and prosper in his life. And it makes me happy to know that I was involved in raising him, and that's what he's become. I could
certainly sense that pride that you have for him. And of course, your other son in the Air Force.
And he's doing a great job. I look at these young men. They're both getting promoted ahead of their peers. They're consummate professionals. And, it's not a reflection of me. It's a reflection of them. Their mom and I, we try to do the best we can for our family, and our girls do exceptionally well, our boys do exceptionally well, and they're good people. Yeah. And that to me is the mark of success. And they're good citizens. They're part of their community. They're part of their team. They're productive. And that's a big part of where we want to go with our veterans. When they come home, we don't want you to sit in a corner and take pills and get drunk. We want you to be a mom or a dad and a brother and a sister and a community foundation member. When there's a problem, we want people to say, hey, go see Rick Cicero, because he's not going to screw around and he's going to tell you what's what, but he's also going to be the best help he can. And go see Charlie Smith and go see Carl and Joe, because these guys are really good guys, and they make a difference, whether it's in the school or their neighborhood or just being a good human being around there. That's a big part of what we need to bring back to.
Amazing. I so appreciate you, Rick, for your time today and for your message and for the inspiration I know you're providing to those viewing from home and elsewhere. Any last words you'd like to leave us with?
I'm truly fortunate for what I get to do. To me, the firearms industry has been great in my recovery and a great aspect to help to convey the messages of a lot of what we just talked about, and it's a good tool. And the other part of it is it has been a real confidence builder, because for a lot of people in my position, that they'll never tell you is I go from the guy who ran towards gunfire to the guy who sits in the wheelchair waiting for someone to take advantage of me. And when we get these guys to understand that they're still that same guy, they just maybe look a little different or truly have to put themselves together in the morning.
Yeah.
And we're all in this together, and it's an absolute honor to be part of this team. and serve my community. And I thank you all for
That's
having
great.
us here today.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Rick. The honor is truly all ours.